I want to take the audiences back just a little bit. What made you want to come on to Temptation Island?
I was kind of just open to the whole experience. Like, if I knew, there's real couples, so I was like, maybe I fall in love and find some love, because that's really hard here in Miami to find something real. So I was like, maybe I have to go on a show and break up a couple, and that'll be what I need to find love. So that was just my whole mindset. I was very open for whatever would happen, like just open to the experience.
What initially attracted you to Kaitlin?
I just liked the way that she carried herself. I thought at first it would have been Marisela, just because, we're both Hispanic, and I thought that would be like the safe, obvious answer for me. But my ex was also white, living, like, she lived in South Carolina, and I guess maybe that's just comfortable for me, or maybe I just like white girls. I don't know. I don't know what it is, but it just felt like kind of the comfort zone for me. So I tend to gravitate towards her more.
Obviously, with the couples on the show, you already know the idea of that they are, with their significant other on the show before they kind of mix and mingle with the singles. Obviously, Kaitlin's in a different situation as she's quote unquote engaged. Did that give you any hesitations before before you kind of dive into trying to be in a relationship with her?
Yeah, I did. The reason why, like, just now to last night's episode, that I kind of was more reserved and I held back a lot was just because of that. Like, she was obviously engaged, and not only that, half the house was trying to get her attention as well, like from the single guys. So in my head, I was like, what's the point in pursuing something with somebody that might just go back to their future husband? Because she seemed very, like, into it, obviously. And also competing with, like, 3-4 guys in the house. It's just, like, to me, I was like, why am I just going to risk getting hurt for no reason? But then towards the end, towards, like, now that it's happening, that I start flirting with her, I was just, like, my mindset was just, like, you know what, whatever. This is what I'm here for, to learn how to be vulnerable, because I was very closed off before, like, in my real life. And I went to the island mostly to learn to, like, be vulnerable and let those guards down. So I just let that happen for myself.
Yeah, that makes plenty of sense. And then, of course, that competition is always fierce in this, because obviously you have these 4 women, you have all of these singles, so you're kind of battling it out for attention. Now, in this episode, the most recent episode that we saw, it's kind of like, between you and Michael that kind of have Kaitlin's eye. What's it like, kind of what we don't see? We're seeing an edited down version of it. What's it kind of like battling for one person's attention while you're on the island?
It's tough, but I'm used to doing this in real life here in Miami when we go out and stuff. So I'm used to the competition, and I'm used to guys being, a little bit jealous in a bad way. Because that's what happened here. Like, Mike started getting a little bit clingy, and I knew that it was all I had to do was just play my cards right, and it everything he was doing was only pushing her more towards me. And I think that's something that they didn't really show, because I know that in the last episode last night, I know what, like, how that night kind of, like, played out, and how it started, and they didn't really show most of how, like, it started, but he was being, like, really clingy and just like just like in a bad way, where it was only making her come more towards me because it wasn't a good look. So I knew that all I had to do was just be, like, chill, laid back, just be me. I was already winning her over with everything I was doing, so I just had to, like, play it cool. But I was never worried. I knew that once I started giving my full attention and everything, that it wasn't going to be a competition.
I like it. I like the confidence, and you have to have it. You know what I mean? Because, like you said, the difference is you have a short window here. It's not like you have 6 months to pursue Kaitlin, to get her. You know what I mean? Like, you have a short window that you need to kind of go in and go in for the quote unquote kill, right?
100%. And I think that's the one regret I had, was not doing it from the beginning.
I like that. Of course, in this week's episode, Mark introduced us to the temptation light. How did that change the landscape of things on the island?
I mean, I always said that there was like two reactions you can have to it. The one that I had was obviously what happened was that now with the light, if it goes off, which it did first for us, it was only going to make the girls be more open to now like really experiencing like, you know, this whole island experience and being more just letting down the guards more because obviously they don't know who is cheating on the other side. So that just made them more inclined to like explore us more, you know? But there was also some people thinking like, okay, now this light is just going to make them more reserved, which kind of happened with Vanessa for a little bit, like in the beginning, because she found out and she just like, she would sleep by the light and she was like freaking out and stuff. So I guess there was like two reactions you can have to it. But even Vanessa after started like letting it go a little bit more and having more fun. So I think it was good. I think it made it more like fun for all of us, for the single guys, and I'm guessing the single girls in the other house.
Yeah, I thought the same thing because I was like, man, I'm waiting for it to be introduced. We kind of got teased on it as the audience watching it, and then you see it kind of introduced, and you're like, oh, okay. So the girls kind of had one reactionary. The guys were like kind of whatever about it, but the girls, it was like, oh, well, now I'm going to behave. And then like, you know, obviously a little bit later, once it goes off, you're twisted to think, all right, no, well, you know what this means for you guys, the singles. You're like, all right, they're willing to ramp up their, you know, hunt to try to maybe approach a relationship with you guys more, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's the mindset I had the whole time. When Mark was talking about it, in my head, I was like, oh my God, game on. Like, I can't wait. I thought whenever it would go off while he was talking about it, that it was going to be like they know who is the person exactly that was falling into temptation. So I thought that would have been really cool. But I guess just like having the what if, like you don't know, makes it a little bit better as well.
Yeah, because I mean, the ladies and the guys kind of have to wait till that bonfire, whenever that transpires between the light going off and the bonfire, figuring out whether or not they know who did what and where. So it's definitely interesting.
Exactly.
All right, so
Yeah.
before we go, Sebastian, I want to obviously I know you can't reveal anything. We're not asking you to reveal. Can you give us a little tease for what's ahead for the audiences for Sebastian? Just a little tease.
I guess all I can say is there will definitely be a lot more very spicy moments coming up now. So we just gotta wait on it.